Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new League of Myths episode. I have seen a lot of the new Echo Myths posted, so I decided to make a part 2. As usual, if you do end up enjoying this one, please don't forget to hit the like button. But moving into the first myth, will Echo's Q follow him to wherever he teleports to, and can it hit a target 3 times? So this one is kind of a double myth. And let's test the first part of the myth, whether or not Echo's Q ability will go across the map if he teleports or uses his ultimate across the map. So to test it out, I teleport into the enemy team's base on my pink ward, I throw my Q, and as I throw it, I pop my ultimate right back to my initial location all the way back in my base. And as I follow my Q going right back towards me across the whole map, you can see it hits everything on its way including the champions and comes right back to me. However, taking this one step forward, can I use my Q to make it go across the map 3 times, and will it hit enemy champions or minions 3 times? This definitely was a lot more complicated to test and figure out, but I ended up teleporting from the enemy base towards mine with the summoner teleport, throw my Q on the ribbon, hit her twice as you see by the 2 passive marks on her, and as the Q is coming back to me across the map, I'm also recalling back to my base. But as I finish the recall, the Q actually hits the minion and then fizzles out. You no longer see it, making you think it's completely gone. But just then, as I slow it down, you're gonna see the Q actually coming back to me, going right through the ribbon, not hitting her. So the animation looks a little strange as it fizzles out, but it cannot hit the same target 3 times. The next myth is asking, can Echo's E ability follow a target as they flash or dash over a wall? So we're gonna have various test case scenarios, and we're gonna start it all off with Lucian, who has a dashing type ability. First, we're seeing if it's even possible to follow a target as they dash, and as the Echo attacks the Lucian half a second after Lucian dashes, he follows him to the new location. So that's definitely pretty neat, since it makes it a lot easier to chase an opponent that has a dash, but does it work over walls, since you don't have vision over the other side of the wall? And once again, if you time it perfectly, you can definitely follow them. But how about champions that have a blinking type ability? So for instance, Ezreal's Arcane Shift. This one is a bit more difficult than a dash, since these blink type abilities are much faster. But once again, with proper timing, it's definitely possible. But just like with Lucian, can you follow them over a wall? And as Ezreal blinks over the wall with his Arcane Shift, once again you can see it's possible. And the last thing to test is going to be the Summoner Flash, which I have found to be the most difficult one to time at the right second, because Flash is quite literally instant. So there you saw me time it nearly perfectly, but it did not follow. But after trying this over and over and over again, because I was so convinced that it should definitely follow the champion over the wall or just anywhere they flash to, I was finally able to make it work, and it requires very precise timing. Definitely not very easy to do, but it's possible. Here's one a lot of you seem to ask. What is the interaction with Bard's journey and Echo's ultimate? This one is quite straightforward in terms of testing. I simply take the journey across the wall, I finish it, and then as my ghost for my ultimate is following me across the wall, I use my ultimate. And the question is, where will my ultimate place me? And all it does is put you on the ground that is closest to the center of the wall, which in this case happened to be the top part of the wall. Moving on to the next myth, can Echo's E or ultimate ability go through Azir's ultimate? So this myth has some interesting results. First, we'll test whether or not his E ability can go over Azir's ultimate. So you obviously cannot simply roll through Azir's ultimate, but if you attack a target that is too far away from the wall itself and there's enough space, you'll go right over. However, on the flip side, if the person is too close to Azir's ultimate and there's no space for Echo to appear on the other side, he'll still get the auto attack off, but instead of being able to jump right past the ultimate, the soldiers will actually push him back. So the attack goes off no matter what, but it's whether or not there's enough space for him to go over. And then of course you have Echo's ultimate testing it with Azir's ultimate, and this one is actually very similar to the previous myth we just tested with Bard's tunnel. Echo can most definitely appear on the other side of Azir's ultimate with his own ultimate, but if he ends up ulting as the ghost is right on top of the soldiers, it'll simply put him on the side that is closest again to the center of the soldiers, much like it did with the wall. And the final myth of this episode, can Echo's W be blocked by Windwall or Brahm's shield? So Echo's W does have his ghost throw some sort of projectile towards the center of the location, almost looking like it's a projectile, but it seems like Brahm's shield is not able to stop it from flying to its center. So let us then test it with Yasuo's Windwall and see if it's any different. Once again, as the W ability winds up and he throws the projectile over, it goes right through the Windwall, not stopping it whatsoever. I really think it would have been pretty cool if it was able to stop his projectile, but it is what it is. Alright guys, that is it for this episode of League of Myths. If you did enjoy, definitely throw in a like, subscribe if you haven't, share it with your friends, and also check out the previous episodes of this series and my other videos as well. Peace!